I just want to come back for a minute. I'm not going to be but 10 minutes. How you doing out there? This is Harper. I just want to talk about how American citizens, especially black folks who are going oppressed by illegal immigration, they are oppressing us out of our communities. And I know that there's supposed to be a deportation, and I'm going to talk about illegal immigration because we have to. We have to be disdain with that. We have to be disdain with that. It's illegal. It's not right. It's against us, and they're oppressing us in mass numbers out of our communities, out of our nonprofit organization. They're parenting things that American citizens need to use when they are in despair. They're parenting our system, our low income system. They're parenting our blue collar system and some white collar. These communities that we live in belongs to us of natives. The U.S. tax dollars are supporting many organizations and many things that Hispanics predominantly have taken over. I mean, we do have an immigration problem with all groups, such as Africans and so forth. And we have immigration problems, within East Indians and things of that catapulting in certain areas where we don't have the opportunity now that they're here and that they are getting pretty much over on us, and they're aligning themselves up in that area in terms of corporate even. Some work in corporate, usually that's the East Indians. But now I can live with the East Indians. The only thing I don't like about them is that they have gas stations and stores and they treat pretty much black people wrong in the community of blacks. They are like dictatorship, and they tell you what you can buy and what you can't buy, and then they raise the price on things that are in certain areas. So they're actually dictating to a group of people inside the first world, and that's the United States. Hispanics is my biggest problem. Hispanics are seemingly to be greedy people, and they have a lot of children, and they don't care about our laws, and they're emboldening. Now, it's emboldened because the Democratic Party is having certain policies that's emboldening them in our cities, in our communities that we built and that we pay taxes to survive in throughout our great, 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 great grandparents and everything. And the laws and all the laws we put in place and all that stuff, they're taking advantage of this stuff. So they're oppressing us out of our communities. North Georgia and parts of Gwinnett County, North Fulton County. I hope that's on the list. Atlanta was on the list. What I'm saying, the reason I did this talk is because I really want the people to know that we need to pretty much parrot and aim for sanctuary cities, because this is where they're really oppressing, in sanctuary cities. They're piling up in sanctuary cities, which belong to the United States citizens. And they're piling up and they're pushing people out of their communities. Now, this is real. This is very real. It might be quiet, it's kept on some issues, but it's very real. They're piling up in the communities. They're pushing them out. And black people are now learning that immigration is against them. A lot of black people don't know that because black people follow stuff like black celebrity, icon, media stuff. Black people like to do stuff like that. And we kind of like have a wishful thinking in terms of other groups. And we don't really understand when we're in a political bind. So a lot of us have been pretty much feeling disparaging due to the fact that our own people don't understand what kind of fight that we're in. Most American citizens do. Most, of us American citizens, most white people, they understand because they have always paid attention to politics. And they know that we are in a political war. And we're under an invasion of our country and our tangibles that we possess inside the first world as a people who built the country, as a people who are taxpayers of the system. We're being manipulated. And our money is going to people we know nothing about, who don't even know how to fight for us, who don't even know how to protect the country. If they knew how to protect the country, they wouldn't be here. They would have to protect their own country. We are people who have fought wars, who have died through wars, through generations and generations to get our country in the standing that it is in. We are the sovereigns of this place. And we built it, and we're responsible of it. And we are stewards over our communities. And we have dignitaries. Unfortunately, a lot of them have sided with this invasion and this communist exchange of illegal immigration in our communities. And it's not so much as small, it's a lot of them. And they're actually becoming very rude and presumptuous. And to the point where it's even silent. They're not. A lot of them not saying it. They say it when they become disdained. They call people names, and they call black people monkeys. They're doing a lot of stuff that's really uninviting in terms of how they live, and just taking away what people have, and really being rude. And they're constantly going People, we're having to correct them in sanctuary cities. Everybody's having problems. I'm in the community, I know. Everybody's having problems at their pool sides. They don't know how to conform to sophistication. They don't know how to conform to class. But they're allowed in these areas throughout them, being able to save their money. And a lot of areas where they don't take Section 8, but the churches, the Catholic Church and the nonprofits are giving them like vouchers and personal checks to pay their rent because they have kids. And then they work in construction sites or cleaning the grounds. And they're illegal. And they're getting apartments with passports in some places. Or somebody else is signing them. And they're getting housing, and what they don't want to take care of their own country. What we doing is not to be mean. We're forcing them to do this right. You don't come to someone else's house and take over. It'd be different if it wasn't that many, like I said before, but it's a whole hell of a lot of them. And they're in big families, and they're not living the way we live. And a lot of time the property value end up going down. Not to say that I want to pay high rent or high mortgage prices, but what happens is when the property value goes down, there's crime, and then there's people are just staying with the community, and you're trapped in it. It's not because it's not beautiful. It's because certain people have came in the area and have basically been uninviting, and it loses its luxury because of this. And they're living 2 and 3 families deep. It's really disgusting what they don't know how to do in terms of being in beautiful areas. And a lot of these places are sanctuary, and I think we need to look out for that. And then the ICE needs to come into the sanctuary cities because these people that are in sanctuary cities are illegal. That's why they're in sanctuary cities. And that's where they are really oppressing. And there's a kind of a lot of sanctuary cities, but not a whole lot. But it's enough for us to feel it in terms of being oppressed. Enough. I mean, I've seen people crying and stuff. People moving from one area to the next because they're in sanctuary cities. And then this lady, she said, I thought I left one. See, my city is sanctuary. It's sanctuary, but no one has announced it. But the police, and I call the mayor's office. I'm an activist. I'm a real activist. I called the mayor's office. I talked to them, and they were. I called the city council. They were siding with me, so they was giving me calls back. However, it was the Georgia Supreme Court that went against our governor in order to these people to be here because these farmers want them here. These farmers don't care about these communities. They live behind compounds and walls. And they got these people out working in their garden and stuff. But what they don't understand is the rest of us here is against the integrity of the American citizens at the grassroots. And even, blue collar, it's against the working class people and people who want nice things because they're not only working in fields to pick onions and grapes and blueberries and stuff like that. They're also now doing contract work, contract companies, and they're working in the garden, doing garden work around condos and homes and stuff, communities, and they're taking over the contractors where they're building and stuff like that, where American citizens could do. They're cheaper. They have a cheaper system. So they're buying into the system with cheaper wages, and now we being oppressed, and this is our home. And it's gone unrectified up until the President Donald Trump. So we rally behind the president in terms of this. This is very serious, and it's in our communities, very deep. And when we look at it, I have seen my family have went out to the community to see this, and they just came home and held their head like, oh my God, and really had a bad day. You can't get in and out of some of these stores because they're all in the way, and they're not supposed to be here. They're not speaking our language, and it's pretty much satanic to speak your own language in someone else's country and live there and not conform. We have laws. The rule of law has not been upheld. These people need to go home. It's overdone now. We didn't do it right. It got out of hands. They need to go back to their home, and they need to build in their home. And they need to, if they're not here legally, they need to go back. I don't care. They need to go back. We got enough tax dollars to get them out. Now we're being responsible for their children at the border. And I'm telling you, I'm a lot worried about them existing in our community. So we don't just need to look at the border. We need to get these people out of the community. ICE needs to be inside the community, getting these people out of our housing and making them go and stand up to their country and not allow these people to be cowards and come over here and destroy what we have and be on our tax dollars and then start getting in our voting blocks through sanctuary cities passing laws, and then they vote in their favor. This is against us. This is destroying us from the inside. How can a people from another country that you allow in your country illegally have the value and the gratitude you wish to have as a country or as a people in the country. They can't do that. They're not us. They're Venezuelans. They're Hondurans and Guatemalans. They don't know us. They just want what we have. They don't know how to conform because the rule of law, we have weak border laws. We have not made them conform. They over here and they have not conformed. They're in America, in the United States, and they're treating the United States like trash. All they want is the money and the housing, and then they have a lot of children because their children are anchor babies, and they're exploiting the 14th Amendment. That doesn't belong to them either. This is a civil war against the people who have invaded our country, along with the things we need to do in our country for ourselves. But this is one sole problem that I would love to see fixed. Nancy Pelosi, garbage. I don't care about them. They have destroyed the integrity of these communities, and they don't care. Nancy Pelosi, Elizabeth Warren. I mean, I don't know if this Cortez lady, she needs to be out of the government. I don't know how she got there. She's basically illegal herself. She's an anchor baby. We got anchor babies in our government system, in our Congress. Do you realize how far this has gone? So if people leave their home, needs to be put back into their home. Deportation needs to happen. I'm sorry. They disrespectful. They're protesting our government. You don't protest someone else's government and demand anything. In other countries, they will kill you. Not saying that here, don't mean it like that, but in other countries, you don't do that. You don't go to other people's country and protest their government. Okay? You come to their country right. You come to their country through laws. You don't hop fences and gates and swim through the Rio Grande and come over here and get on Section 8 and get on food stamps or whatever and live 20 years in communities and then getting vouchers up to $1,500 because you got 6 kids and oppressing the community. And then you and your sister and all that, Maria and Hosea and Pedro and all of this, people all around you deep. I mean, thousands deep. And your school is oppressed where your kids can't even go and have a higher learning environment because another people is being aided because it's become a political agenda. And DACA is unconstitutional. That should not be in here. If we want to help them, we can aid their countries like we've been doing. These people don't need to be in our housing and taking over and oppressing our communities. I'm zero tolerance. I'm sorry. It's done. They need to be deported. That's just it. We don't want them here, period. They don't need to be here also because it's a threat, a political threat. And it is. And if we don't try to clean some of this stuff up now, we will not set the precedents that this is something that's very hardship. These people are dying trying to get here. We will save them by letting them know you don't come to the United States illegally and you don't come to the United States to sneak in someone's country and get inside their voting blocks and get inside their system. By skipping out on court and all of this, getting ID and stuff that belongs to dead people. People have been deceased. This is what's going on. And it's in mass numbers. They run operations where they're giving people ID away. Dead people. Thank you for joining me. Harper.